Hey guys, here we are, the second to last episode of WandaVision. First off, I just wanted to give a big thank you to everyone who's been watching these reaction videos. I didn't know you guys would like them that much. I didn't know it was going to be a thing, but apparently it is, so I'm going to keep on doing them because, hey, they're fun. So where did we leave off? Alright, so, the big reveal of episode 7 was the fact that Agnes is, of course, Agatha Harkness. And even though I more or less suspected it, I'm still happy with the way they kind of revealed it. And I think they did a very good job revealing it within the story. But now I'm really keen to learn, what is it that Agatha really wants? What is her ultimate goal in WandaVision? So I think this episode will be a very good glimpse into what exactly is her intention. You know, is she evil? Is she just evil? Or is it more complex than that? I'm betting it's probably more complex than that. And again, 47 minutes. Oh god, Kevin Feige and Marvel, like, it is not a 2-hour finale. I'm gonna cry. I am gonna cry. Alright, well, let's jump into the episode. So they did it! They actually are giving her the backstory in the comic books. Agatha dates back to the Salem witch trials. So they're giving her this backstory, which I think is very, very cool. And I love it. So she's essentially long-lived then. Wow. I love where they're going with all this witchcraft stuff. That was so good! She just killed her mom. Whew. That's dark.
That accent really comes and goes, doesn't it?
Oh.
Your magic's no good here.
Oh my god, this is so good.
Wanda! I mean, we're right here.
Catherine Hahn is amazing. I was ready for it, but I wasn't ready for it. I totally knew. I mean, if you've seen the movies, you know what happens, but I was so sucked in the moment. Ooh, wow. Well done. I'm so happy with what they're doing right now. One of my favorite things that, in movies in general, when you kind of have like, you know, a trilogy or more than one film, when they've already told a story, but then they actually go back and actually show it. We've known this since Age of Ultron. We know that a bomb went off, it killed her parents, and that her and Pietro were stuck for 2 days waiting and worried that this Stark Industry bomb was going to go off, and they never did. We knew that already, but we're actually seeing it. But now they're taking it to this other level, and they're saying that Wanda already had powers. She said she was a baby witch, so it's either she was a witch or a mutant. So it looks like they're trying to go with the whole witch angle with it more. And she's the one that stopped the bomb. And it's clever. They called it a probability hex, which is what they usually called her powers when she was first introduced in the comics. So there's so much goodness in there that... Duh! Well done. Oh my god, Candace is so good. They just did not.
She's still alive.
No, they didn't. They did it. Okay, that shot was beautiful. With the yellow glow and like kind of like the massive like wind. And she's like, that looks so good. They're so gonna give her the headdress. They're giving her the headdress. They damn well better. I've been like waiting for her costume to have a freaking headdress because it's just the way it is in the comic books. And They have to be able to make it look cool by now. There's no way they cannot make it look awesome. And you saw her there. You saw her there. The whole like Scarlet Witchness. This episode is so good.
It's just gonna drown me.
No. No, it won't. But what is grief? If not love, persevering.
That's such a good quote. I have to write that down. Oh, that was like their first moment. I'm so gonna cry.
I wanted him back. Got it. Thanks.
I love Wanda.
Not everyone has the kind of power that could bring their soulmate back online.
Why does he think she can do that?
I can't feel you. I can't feel you.
I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry. Oh. That's such a good line. What was it? It was in Infinity War when he was just like, tell me what you feel. And she was all like, I just feel you. I was like, oh, that was so nice. I loved that. And they just kind of connected it right now here in WandaVision when she was like, I don't feel you. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not crying, you're crying. Elizabeth Olsen deserves an Emmy. Like, if she's not nominated, I'm gonna be so fucking pissed. So pissed. Ugh. Whew. It got me. It got me. She didn't take the body, though. Hayward said that she stole the body, and she left it. So he has the body. He has the body. This show has gotten me crying and almost crying plenty of times. Wow. Whew. I'm such a sap. Oh. So she made Vision. When they first introduced her character, it was kind of like implied that she got her powers from the Mind Stone. And then they started saying, maybe the Mind Stone unlocked something that was already there. And now if we're going with this episode, it seems that she was already kind of a witch. And then the Mind Stone amplified her powers. But we know Wanda's connected to the Mind Stone. So is that why she was able to, reconstitute Vision by herself? Because it's, I'm assuming she still has that kind of, residual Mind Stone energy. And more or less, Vision was empowered by the Mind Stone.
It's okay, baby. It's okay.
You're supposed to be a myth, a being capable of spontaneous creation. This is chaos magic, Wanda. That makes you the Scarlet Witch.
They just called her the Scarlet Witch. Yeah! At last. This show is doing so many things and it's doing it so well. Oh my god. Okay, wow. Well, first off, they finally decided to give her a nickname. Because I remembered earlier in the season, they were just, when Hayward was like, does she have any code name, any funny nickname? And they're like, no, she has none. And in my head, it's like, she's called the Scarlet Witch. Because that's what, obviously she's called in the comic books. But she's always only been referred to as Wanda in the MCU. And there was kind of like an illusion when, in Age of Ultron, when she kind of did her little mind spell on the Hulk and he was like rampaging throughout the city, where Tony was just like, don't let that witch play with your mind. And that was kind of like a little shout out. But they've never really called her the Scarlet Witch. And in the comic book, she's called that, but it was always just more assumed just because, her powers weren't necessarily witchcraft when she was first introduced. but they kind of had the semblance of, it was always just kind of like when she would point at something, it would cause like bad luck to happen. And they called those probability hexes, but it wasn't necessarily like witchcraft. It was her mutant power. So that is why she was called the Scarlet Witch. Since her inception in the comic book, so much has changed. They've reconned so much of her history and her powers to the extent that they are pulling from like all of that, though. They're pulling from all of that. Okay, so the Scarlet Witch's powers have changed vastly through her comic book history. When she was first introduced, she was introduced as a mutant. And depending on like, which storyline you're reading, when she was a baby, she was touched by the demon Chthon, who essentially kind of bestowed her the ability to use magic. And of course, when she's first just introduced as a character, before you have any of her backstory, she's just a mutant who is essentially kind of like a villain. She fights against the X-Men when she was first introduced. And she would have these things called probability hexes, which they kind of called out in the show. They did. And essentially what that would do is if she would kind of like point at something, she could make kind of bad luck happen for that person, and it would work in her favor, though. She didn't really have control over it. She wasn't really like doing anything special, but that was kind of what her power was. It was very ill-defined at the time. And then she started getting tutored by Agatha Harkness, and Agatha essentially helped Wanda develop her witchcraft skills. So along with her mutation, her ability to use her probability hexes, and her magic, she became, better at her powers. She was able to actually make certain things happen the way she wanted to. So she was getting stronger. Of course, she was touched by the demon Chthon. So there was always this kind of like underlying of magic, but it's like, it was always so ill-defined. How much of it is magic? How much is her mutant powers? And then it became so vast, her powers just became so strong that she was actually able to warp reality. And then that's where you get the popular storyline, House of M, Avengers Assembled, where Wanda is able to affect and change reality on a universal scale, which is kind of what we're seeing right here with her and Westview. She's literally just changing everything. And then it was revealed that Wanda is actually not a mutant. So she's not a mutant at all. If people still tell you that Magneto is Scarlet Witch's dad, they are wrong. It was true at one point. It's no longer true until they recon it again and say he is. But as of right now, currently in the comic books, Magneto is not Scarlet Witch's or Quicksilver's dad. They have no relation whatsoever. And it was actually reconned that she's not even a mutant anymore. She was actually experimented on by the High Evolutionary, who then kind of unlocked her skills. So again, it becomes kind of very messy because then it's like, okay, was she touched by the demon Chthon? How much of it is magic? What is chaos magic? What's her mutation? But then it turns out, again, reconned, that her powers to alter reality weren't necessarily hers entirely. She was possessed by an entity. I won't go into the details of it too much. She was possessed by an entity when she was trying to bring back her kids again. And it basically took control of her and basically amplified her powers to that extent that she was able to rewrite reality. She's not possessed by the entity anymore. And they've kind of gone back. I think, what was the storyline? She got her own comic book. I think it was 2016. And that kind of delved more into the backstory of Wanda. And then you find out, yes, Wanda was born more or less a witch. And her mom, her real mom, you actually find out, was actually another witch too. And actually went by the name the Scarlet Witch. So Wanda has found out that she actually comes from a bloodline of powerful witches, and that the title, the name Scarlet Witch, actually holds more kind of weight to it versus just being like a name that she was just given. It's kind of like a name that goes through her family bloodline. And that is kind of what's so cool about what they just did here in WandaVision. Is they're not just giving her like a code name. Oh yeah, like let's call her the Scarlet Witch because her power is like Scarlet. They are actually like using that history. They're pulling from so many things in her comic book history all the way to like current stuff, and that she's able to use this chaos magic. They just called it out there. Chaos magic. It's always been an underlying power source for her. And now that they're naming her the Scarlet Witch, and the way like Agatha said it, it made it seem like, like she's like this mythical creature that's never been seen before. So is there like kind of like a prophecy that the Scarlet Witch is going to fulfill? Like, what exactly does that title and code name entail for Wanda? And it was just so cool when you saw her with the Mind Stone, and she's all like this, and you saw the headdress. If she doesn't have that new costume in the next episode, I'm gonna be livid! But yeah, Wanda's power set has always been, I mean, you can see it in the movies, they've always kind of been vague about it, and kind of were just like, like sussing it out as they would go on. I mean, the comic book is that like times 10. Now with Vision, I saw that was coming because, okay, if they were going to kill Vision, the only way they could actually like keep Vision around, but then also cause like drama, is to have what we can call like dub White Vision. So in the comic books, he actually gets dismantled and rebuilt and dismantled many, many a times. But one of the main times it does happen and causes a lot of grief for Wanda is, you know, they're having their relationship, they're in love, and he essentially gets dismantled. And when he gets rebuilt again, he's basically emotionless. So he's Vision, but he's not Vision. He doesn't have any of the emotional capacity that he once had, which means he doesn't have any feelings towards Wanda because he's just an android. That is what that is. That is 100% what that is. So we're gonna see a Vision face-off. We're gonna have her Vision against that Vision, and then Wanda fighting also that Vision, or maybe fighting Agatha. There's so much. It has to be 2 hours long. That's what that post-credit scene was. It's an emotionless Vision. So I'm really intrigued to see how they're gonna keep that going, because at the end of this, which Vision will stay? It's gonna be really sad if they both die. If they get rid of Paul Bettany, I feel Vision hasn't had enough proper screen time. I would like to see Paul Bettany more. I want to see more Vision. Like, Vision is also one of the strongest Avengers, but I feel we rarely get to see it on screen, either in WandaVision or in the Avenger films. We really haven't seen him at his best. So I really don't want them to get rid of Vision completely. And I think it would be cool if, I mean, I don't want the Vision that loves Wanda to die, but I think for story purposes and, you know, better storytelling, I think it would be cool if the White Vision is the one that sticks around and, you know, doesn't stay bad, but, you know, kind of joins the Avengers, and like maybe him and Wanda have to like fight side by side, and it's about the whole, you know, Wanda having to deal with the fact that she's working with Vision, but it's not her Vision. Ugh, so good! But now I don't even know if they're going to be able to pull off Mephisto now. If they're still trying to do Mephisto, then that is literally going to happen in Doctor Strange. I don't know if it's going to even happen in this episode, because there's only one episode left. They can't pull it off that much. So I think the villains here are literally Hayward and Agatha to some extent. I don't see Agatha as pure evil now. I never really did. I knew that she would have more layers than that. But she knows something about the Scarlet Witch. Not necessarily Wanda, but what the Scarlet Witch is. She's like, you're a myth. You're not supposed to be real. So maybe, like, in her own twisted way, Agatha thinks that she's doing good by, I don't know, getting rid of the Scarlet Witch. I'm pretty sure, like, it doesn't entail something good. That sounded very ominous, like, you're the Scarlet Witch, or like the end of everything. So, one more episode and I just can't. And I need to see Wanda in that freaking headdress. That was such a good shot. I loved all this filling in of Wanda's backstory. That was such a good episode. Please, a 2-hour finale. Please, a 2-hour finale. Thank you again, guys, for watching another one of my WandaVision reaction videos. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm definitely going to do a reaction video for the finale, and I will definitely be going straight into Falcon and the Winter Soldier reaction videos. Comment below if you want me to react to anything else. And again, thank you guys for watching, and I will talk at you guys later. Bye!